Ready when you are.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us and speaking about the Creative Industries Grant Fund. I'm so happy that this is being well received and everyone has the appetite and interest to look into this opportunity. My name is Laurie Prickett and I have my colleague Maya Jackson with me from the Invest Atlanta team. We're so pleased to be here and to speak with you about this really important grant. I just wanted to give everyone a bit of background on where this grant came from. So originally, this opened up in 2017 as a loan fund, and the program converted into a grant fund with $725,000 available to support creative professionals recover from the economic effects of the pandemic. So Invest Atlanta is very pleased to join with the Mayor's Office of Film and Entertainment and offer this opportunity out to our amazing creative industries ecosystem for the city. Just as a little heads up, if you can wait to the end for all questions, and please place them into the Q&A box, please. We will get to all questions if we haven't covered them already, and we will also at the end provide you with an email address for follow-up questions that we can answer. So we're very happy for everyone to be here, and I'm going to start out with just a basic question that I'm sure all of you have. What constitutes creative industries? Well, that's a very loaded question and one that we're excited to talk about. So we're talking about independent content creators and creative entrepreneurs. That can be all of us. We can all say that we're creative individuals. We're talking about film, music, digital entertainment. You're a creative accelerator or incubator. You're part of the visual or performing arts community. You do things for the commercial arts community. We're talking about independent designers, photographers, illustrators, graphic designers, multimedia design. So we have such a broad array of creative industries experts, and we all want to make you a part of this grant. Now, what is this grant going to be for? What do you want to use it? What kind of opportunities can the grant support you with? So we're looking at things like production, post-production, distribution, market outreach, touring, festivals, concerts that we haven't been able to do in so long because of the pandemic, prototype development, sales and attraction. So these funds are a wonderful opportunity to either finish a project or kickstart projects into action. So we're very excited about what this grant can do for you all. I'm going to now pass it over to my colleague Maya Jackson, who's going to be talking about our platform and what we're using it.
Thanks, Laurie. Again, my name is Maya Jackson. Laurie and I have been working super hard on this grant together, and we're really excited to share it with all of you and see all of the really cool projects that you all have. Laurie, just making sure you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we just want to do a quick overview of how to actually apply. If you haven't had the chance to access the application, the best way to get there is investatlanta.com/creatives. And we've done a tutorial already going through the entire Neighborly process, but I'll do a quick overview here. So once you come to this page, you're going to want to click Apply Now, and it will take you to Neighborly, which is the software that we use for grants. And the Creative Industries Grant Fund is the grant that you're going to want to open and begin your application for. So again, it goes into the program overview. It asks you some general questions about your business. It will ask you background information about your business. So is your business located within the city of Atlanta? That's a really important question because we are Invest Atlanta. So that means our service area is only businesses and residents that are within those city limits. So that's really integral that you know where your home-based location is, where your location is, whether it's at home or whether it's a physical standalone building, it has to be in the city of Atlanta. So Alpharetta, Gwinnett County, Douglasville, those do not count for these purposes. It must be in the city of Atlanta. Some other small questions are, is your business a veteran-owned business? Is your business certified as a minority or women-owned business? Those questions help us get a gauge of who's applying and making sure we're serving our targeted audiences as the development authority. Moving on, for grant requests, this is what you'll tell us how much money you actually need. So again, the grant ranges from $5,000 to $20,000. We don't tell you what you can send the money for. We ask you, how much do you need? And we decide if we're going to be able to give that to you. So this is where you really want to make sure you're as specific as possible and as detailed as possible. And lastly, one of the most important sections that when we're reviewing applications that have already been submitted, we're seeing that some people may be missing information or the information is not thorough enough. This is a section that you really want to pay attention to. So for resumes of significant principals, partners, or owners, these are all the people that are key to the project. So it's the co-founder, it's the producer, it's the artist. This is the people that are carrying the weight of the project. And again, this is just a brief list of the people associated with the project. Legal documentation establishing your business. So this would be your Secretary of State paperwork. Save affidavit. That's probably one of the top most important forms. This is an internal form that we need to process your application. So you'll click this link, download the form. You will have to get it notarized, and we must have it notarized to proceed with the application. So you want to make sure you do that as well. We'll need the W-9 for your business. This is different than your personal W-9 because you don't want to put your social security number on there or any personal identifying information. You want to make sure that it's strictly your business information. And the rest is kind of the nitty gritty. So the project summary and the marketing and distribution plan, that's where you want to go all out. You really want to tell us as much detail about your project as you can. So tell us what the goal is, why did you create this project, who inspired you, when do you plan to complete it, how long is it going to take you, who's your target audience. That's what we're really looking for when we're reading the project summary and the marketing and distribution plan. And when we're scoring the applications, that's where a bulk of the scoring will come from. So you want to make sure to pay special attention to that as well. Lori will touch on the business license portion, so I'll leave that to her. But just to also go over the deadline with you guys, the application does close next week. It closes at 11:59 p.m. on November 9th. And once the next day hits the 10th, that's when we'll start, we'll start scoring applications on November 21st. So we have a committee of judges who are in the creative community and they're creative stakeholders, might you say, and they will be reviewing the applications based on the project description and the marketing and distribution plan. So we're giving them a 2-month review period as well, and we hope they be finished around January, and that's when we want to start dispersing funds. So we are looking at about a 3-month timeline before funds can even be dispersed. So you'll probably see your application go from in review to committee review to review complete to approved, then approved for payment, then compliance. So internally, we have a lot of different statuses that we're working with and a lot of people who have to look over the application just to make sure we have our checks and balances and that everyone is being scored fairly and properly. But I'm going to toss it back to Lori and she will finish with the rest of the presentation. Thanks, Lori.
Thanks, Maya. I really appreciate it. So I know that's probably a lot for everyone to take in. That's a lot of information, and I'm sure everyone's making notes of what they need to do. But I know there's a lot involved, but just take it one step at a time. And throughout this process, we're going to give you resources. You've got online tutorials, and also I'll give you an email at the end if you're having problems throughout the process. Now, as someone that's aware of the kind of creative industries, independent creators and things like that, I know that things like business licenses for independent creators can be a challenge. And you're all wondering, I have a Secretary of State license, so is that enough? Or no, they're two different things. You've got your Secretary of State license, and then what we need is to have a City of Atlanta business license. Now, I know all of you have probably gone on the website and seen that there is probably 30 to 45-day kind of processing times. We want to make sure that we ensure that you're giving every opportunity to this grant. So I just want to say this in advance and to kind of start taking notes of what I'm about to say. City of Atlanta business license is a mandatory thing for this grant. So every company, everybody applicant needs to have this. what we are saying to individuals that do not have one yet, please apply through ATL Core. And that is the platform that you're going to use to apply for a business license. You will submit your application and it will confirm a code that says you have confirmed submitting an application for a City of Atlanta business license. Screenshot that. And then you can upload that to the application. That lets us know you have begun the process and that you are willing to make the application. And once throughout the process, you'll be in contact with someone about paying your fee. For us, what we care about is at the very end, when the grant is dispersed, you have your City of Atlanta business license. So in these processing times, we just want to make sure that you're submitting, you've made the commitment to apply for a City of Atlanta business license, and all that documentation can be uploaded. So you're letting us know that that step has been confirmed. So again, the caveat is this: we want to make sure that your application is submitted. It will be under review. You've made every effort to get a City of Atlanta business license and prove to us that you've submitted the application. And that the biggest thing is, at the moment your grant funds are dispersed, you have the City of Atlanta business license. If you don't, unfortunately, that keeps you out of the running for this grant. But in the meantime, all those processing times and when these applications are under review, at least those things are moving along and your application and your consideration is not being hindered by that process. So we're trying to do everything in our power to make sure that that everyone has every opportunity to make this application and make their case for these funds. So again, that's a way to look into it. So again, ATL Core is a priority for you all there. Now, something else Maya touched on, I just want to reinforce the point. For us on the compliance part, we need to ensure that on the paperwork, your business name, your W-9 for your business, and your Secretary of State business license have the same name throughout the process. We need to have consistency throughout the documentation for your business name. So when you're going through all these aspects and every part of the application, please ensure those are consistent names, business names, throughout all your paperwork. And that helps us on the compliance part of this. So yes, so business license, that's a big one. I've also received a lot of outreach from people saying, you know, how do I help get myself assistance with business planning or marketing planning or guidance throughout this process? Well, we have an amazing site called ATL in Business, and going through that website is amazing because what you can do is under Find a Consultant, you can see a list of free resources to City of Atlanta businesses that they are amazing companies, amazing organizations that provide guidance on how to write a business plan, how to write a marketing strategy, and give you part of their time to go through your business options and to discuss ways around helping your business or your plan or your pitch deck for this kind of grant. So we do hope that you use that resource to you. So that is ATL in Business. So that is another resource to you all as well. So for us at the end, if you have any questions and you need some specifics on the application, please email cigf@investatlanta.com and we will get back to you. You can provide your name, your number, and most likely you'll get one of us to call you back, help you throughout this process. We understand it's a huge undertaking, but we just want to ensure that the deadline is approaching. You're submitting your application, you're not have any hindrances, and that's what we are here to do with Invest Atlanta. We're happy to support you. We invest in you, and we invest in this amazing creative community. So I was going to look at some of the questions and go from there if it's all right with everyone. Yeah. So we're going to go through here, and Maya, feel free to reach out if we need to. I'm going to start from the beginning. Just going up now. What if we are applying as an organization for continuous projects, but not a specific project? So I would say something along the lines of this: if you are an accelerator or an incubator that has multiple projects going on that you're funding throughout the creative industries, This is for, I would say, a specific project in mind that you're working on. So that would be the answer there. Stephanie kindly says, my business is not creative. However, we create a lot of creative material, videos, social media, graphic designs in order to promote our business. You have a YouTube channel and an Instagram where all the visual creatives lives. Do I qualify for this grant? I would say that if it's leading to helping creative industries, companies, or creative projects, that's one way of doing it. So that would be mine. Do you concur, Maya?
Stephanie, do you mind reaching out to us with your business? Just send us the website and a little bit more information about your business, and we can take a look and answer that question.
That's wonderful. Are mobile units eligible to apply? Are new artists to the city eligible to apply? Are electronic notarizations acceptable? I have been here since February. My business is registered in DeKalb County. Am I allowed to collaborate with local artists and organizations? So I would say if you are a City of Atlanta business license, then I see no problem with that. But City of Atlanta business license, and you are located, your business is located in the City of Atlanta. Can you submit multiple applications?
Yeah, so if you can only submit one application per business. So if you have multiple businesses with multiple projects and they all have a separate business license, then that's fine. But if you have one business and you have 3 projects that you're requesting funding for, we won't be able to accept more than one application from the same business with different projects.
If you don't live in the City of Atlanta, can you partner with someone who lives or has a business in the City of Atlanta?
So again, the application would need to come from the business that's located in Atlanta, and the money would technically be awarded to them.
I service Atlanta from Austell, Georgia. Does that disqualify me? Can I still get a City of Atlanta business license?
So even if you service Atlanta, the grant is specifically for businesses located within Atlanta. So we are grateful for you servicing Atlanta. We don't work for the City of Atlanta, so we can't tell you how they award their business licenses and what the requirements are, but you more than likely would need to have that City of Atlanta business license address. So you would need an address to get the business license. So that might be a question for them as well.
Hi, is there a video tutorial on how to set up the business license?
Yep, Invest Atlanta has a recording on our website where we go through that in depth, and we actually speak with the City of Atlanta on how to do that. So on our Facebook as well as our website, there's already a YouTube recording of that.
Great question, wonderful question. My project involves the creation of interactive exhibits for a museum. Would that be included? Absolutely, that's a great example. How many grants are you planning to disperse?
So it depends on how much funding is requested. The way the scoring metrics work is people or businesses are scored, from highest to lowest, and we award in that priority scoring order. So since everyone is requesting different amounts of grant funding, it really just depends on how many applications we receive and how much money people are requesting. So I think if everybody requests $20,000, the minimum we can do is about 46. If everybody's requesting just around $5,000, that opens the door for us to go into the hundreds. So it depends on how many applications we receive and how much money people request.
Okay. Can I apply for funding if I already shot the production? I am looking to secure funding for marketing and promotion.
Yep, so marketing and distribution are the categories that we are funding. So if you have the project and you're waiting on funding for marketing and distribution, you're still eligible.
Okay. Do you need a business license in the service industry?
If you don't mind reaching out to us with your business and what it is, we'll be able to answer that question more specifically.
So again, Mr. Lewis, if you can email CIGF@investatlanta.com, we can look into that for you. What is the time frame by which the projects need to be completed? Wonderful question, Scott.
So the time frame, luckily, is there's not really a time frame. We need to see proof that you have a project plan, but there is not a time frame for when the project needs to be completed. We do have progress reports, and there are certain things that it's a part of the grant you have to accomplish. So we'll do a progress report check-in, I believe, in 6 months. So we will need to see, we'll be asking for updates then, but we're not specifically requesting that the project be completed.
Wonderful. Can you please repeat the name of the site to start the BIS application? I don't know if that means the Neighborly platform to do it, but I think Maya is typing up for you as well. She's sending that through. Can a business organization submit more than one application for separate projects?
So again, if there are 2 separate businesses, then you can. But if you have one business with multiple projects, you can only submit for one project.
Okay. Would you suggest adding a deck to project summary or just keeping it simple with the project summary? I say more information is better than none, to be quite honest with you. I think go ahead, Maya.
Oh, no, I was going to say that's up to you. Whichever you think provides the most in-depth information about the project, that's what's best.
Can we apply for the grant if we would like to open up a creative studio for content creation and events?
This is something we would need you to reach out to us about. Again, it all depends on if you have a business license and if you have an actual project. So the grant isn't really meant to help scale up businesses per se, or open a business. It's meant to fund a certain project. So this, if you could reach out to us as well.
Okay. For the business license, should we get a general business license or is there a certain type required?
That would be up to the revenue department at the City of Atlanta. So that's a great question to ask them. We can't tell you specifically because it does depend on the type of business you have.
Do you accept grant applications for any other grants with businesses registered in other cities or counties?
So no, we only at this time are able to service City of Atlanta businesses.
And they've asked me to state the email address again. It's CIGF@investatlanta.com. My business is photography, so I operate all over Atlanta. However, I live in Marietta. Can I apply?
So if your business has to be registered within the City of Atlanta. So even if you service Atlanta or you come to Atlanta and you work here, your business has to be registered with our City of Atlanta Revenue Department as a City of Atlanta business.
Okay. I'm in the process of applying for my City of Atlanta business license, but have been told it can take up to 60 days to process. Will I still qualify for the grant? It's like what we were talking about is right now we understand processing times, and unfortunately we can't control those times. What we can do is at least give you the avenue to apply. So what I said is, apply for your City of Atlanta business license, submit the application, and you'll get a reference number. Please screenshot that reference number and upload that into the Neighborly platform. So for us, at the end of the day, by the time grants are dispersed, as long as you have the City of Atlanta business license by that time, you will still qualify for this grant and be able to accept the funds. Can the Secretary of State and the business license be registered in separate cities?
That's a pretty specific question. Typically, the Secretary of State registration is just for the whole state of Georgia. The business license is the local municipality. So maybe if you can email us and let us know what your situation is, Kiara.
Okay, what exactly guarantees approval? What are some things that might get your application denied? How many applications get approved?
That's a really good question. So maybe it would help if we talk a little bit more about ourselves as an organization and how we define our goals and how we attempt to service the community. So we have a plan, an economic development strategy called One Atlanta. It was adopted under Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, her leadership. And that's how we do everything. So we have target audiences and target communities that we want to make sure their communities are being developed and their communities are being serviced. So minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, low-income residents. Our whole goal is to combat inequity in Atlanta and make sure that everybody is able to achieve wealth in Atlanta. So some of the questions that you get asked on the application, like, are you a minority-owned business? Have you already received grant funding? Those are all a part of the scoring metrics that we use to make sure we are targeting the right citizens and making sure that the underserved communities in our neighborhood are receiving the funding that's needed. So that's part of what's helping with approval. Again, the bulk of the points is going to come from the actual project and the merit of the project. So the judges will be scoring on the viability. So how much grounding does the project have? You know, has this person really put the work in? Is it consistent? Is it viable? Is it really going to happen? That's really what they will be looking at when they're scoring. Some things that might get the application denied: if you're not a creative business, one. So if you don't do any of the things that we listed and you don't have a special project, that's a way that the application will get denied. Also, if you're not in the city of Atlanta, if you haven't applied for the business license and posted that with your application, and how many applications get approved. Again, that number varies. It could be anywhere from 50 to 100. So we won't know until we get all of the applications submitted and see how much money people are requesting.
Okay. Can someone talk about protecting intellectual property? For me, yet you want as much detail when submitting an application.
Yeah, so that's a great question, Michael. All of the judges sign NDAs and things that protect your property. So they make sure they're not allowed to share your project with anybody. They're not allowed to talk about the project with anybody outside of themselves. Us internally, we practice discretion in everything we do. We are not allowed to distribute your material or share your project without your approval or knowledge. So it will stay internal. Neighborly is a locked-in system. Everyone has to have a login and be approved by us before they can even get access. So your intellectual property will very much stay within the Invest Atlanta reins.
What is the email address you said that we can email to? Also, will this meeting be recorded? It certainly will, and available to the audience. Absolutely, you'll receive this after the webinar commences, so you will have all that information, James. Do Atlanta apparel designers qualify for this grant for a new product line? I think that's something we'd want to speak with you about. So please email cigf@investatlanta.com and we can look into that. Why is the deadline on a Wednesday rather than the end of the week?
That's a great question. So the application opens September 9th. So it's by the time that it closes, it'll have been open for 2 months. We do have a holiday, Veterans Day, on November 11th. We also have early release on November 10th. So just with the schedule of the holidays and staffing, it's closing on the Wednesday, but it has been open for 2 months.
Am I eligible if I am starting my business? I have treatments provided for creative projects. However, I've been struggling for a business name. Will I have time to register for the business license?
So that's up to you. You probably have to register before November 9th. So I don't know if the city of Atlanta has anything for if you don't have a business name yet, but that might be something you want to discuss with the business license department.
If my application for the woman-owned business certification is still pending, can I submit a screenshot for this application?
Yes, we'd accept that.
Can a business or organization submit more than one application for separate projects? Is there any exceptions for a great life-changing project in multi-areas that's in Atlanta and outside of Atlanta, but still Georgia?
Unfortunately, again, it's only for City of Atlanta businesses. We do commend the effort, and we love our friends over at the Metro Atlanta Chamber, who have a much larger service area than us, and they serve all of the metro counties. So they're also a great resource, and I can pop their email here as well. They do programs similar to ours as well. So we can only service the City of Atlanta because we're the official arm of the City of Atlanta, but I'm happy to recommend the Metro Atlanta Chamber to you.
I will be incorporating my nonprofit in Georgia. We don't have a physical business location yet, but we'll be housing programming and our production out of businesses in Atlanta, and we have a City of Atlanta business license. Does this still count as serving Atlanta versus having a business in Atlanta?
So if I'm reading that question correctly, it says you do have a City of Atlanta business license, so that would count and make you eligible.
Is an Atlanta business license something that will have to be renewed annually? If yes, what is that cost?
It does have to be renewed annually. I'm not sure what the cost is, but a business license is a requirement for anyone doing business within the City of Atlanta who has a physical location here. So it does have to be renewed annually, yes.
If we request $20,000 and you only think we need $10,000, would you decline or just change the awarded amount?
That's a really good question, and that's something we're working through with the judges right now. We are happy to provide that update on the website, but we are having a meeting with our judges coming up, and we'll decide that then. But Felicia, if you could reach out to us, we'll have an answer for that question by the end of the week.
Is the grant only for nonprofit?
Nope, so it's for any for-profit business or nonprofit business with the City of Atlanta business license.
Is there a point system online for grading the applications?
The point system will not be online, but it is an internal resource that we use to grade the applications. So there are some administrative portions that the Invest Atlanta staff will check and verify that contribute to the points. And then there are those points that the judges will score and award.
Good afternoon, and thank you for this meeting. My business is based in 30080 area. Sometimes it says Smyrna, sometimes it says Atlanta. Is my business eligible to apply?
I am going to drop a link in the chat that sends you to GIS, but it's the City of Atlanta's GIS, and any address that you have, you're able to put in there and it'll tell you whether you're located within the City of Atlanta or unincorporated DeKalb County or Fulton County. So that's a great point that they bring up. Even if your address says Atlanta, you might not be located within the city limits. So there is a difference between unincorporated Fulton County and the city limits of Atlanta. So I encourage everyone to just look up their address before they apply, just to verify that they're within those city limits.
I know you are focusing on marketing and distribution, but can this grant apply to a live dance and music show? So festivals and concerts are one of the aspects. So yes. Okay, what is the total amount of funds available? Did you say 750,000? No, what I did say was 725,000 total. If we apply for the business license in person, will they give a certain number to provide to process, or do we have to go online?
I don't know if they accept in-person applications. You might have to reach out to their department, but once you submit your application, you will receive a case number that basically tells us and you that you submitted it. But I'm not sure if they accept in-person applications.
Good afternoon. If you have the City of Atlanta business license, then you will be qualified. Or does your business LLC and business license have to be in Atlanta for you to be qualified?
So your business license has to be in the City of Atlanta. Your LLC is not as important to us as your business license. It's important that you have the LLC, of course, but not that it's registered in Atlanta. But typically, if that's the address on your Secretary of State, will most likely also be the one that's on your business license.
Who are the judges? We're very fortunate. We've brought in judges from universities, nonprofits, public and private industry. We've got an amazing advisory panel with lots of experience covering all the areas of focus here. So we're very excited about their involvement and really appreciate them taking the time and investing into the community. Can I ask for a copy of the NDA?
We can check with our legal team and see if that's available for distribution.
I have my license, but I started my project under the business name on July 2022, but have been running since 2020. So I have to have been running for a certain time period.
Nope, if you don't have to have been running for a certain time period, as long as you have the business license and your business name that you submit your application with matches your Secretary of State registration and your W-9, then you're good in our books.
If you have an online business and sell products online, do you still need a business license?
That is a City of Atlanta Revenue Department question.
If I have a registered LLC in Atlanta through the Secretary of State, am I eligible for this? Does this mean I already have a business license?
So LLC and business license are not the same. One registers you as an entity and a corporation, and the other ensures that you're paying your taxes to the local municipality. So those are two separate things, and for this, you do need to have both of them.
If your business address is a home address, do you need a business license or a business certification?
Home-based businesses do still need business licenses.
Would I need to submit the short film project to Invest Atlanta for review along with the application? Do I need to just send the script since we have already shot the movie?
If you have the film and you like to submit it, we're more than happy to take a look at it and the script as well. I do think we're able to upload videos to Neighborly, but if you have any trouble with that, feel free to email it to us, but we'd happily accept both.
We've already answered this, but can I acquire an LLC through Invest Atlanta?
So the LLC will go through the Secretary of State. I can pull up that website and drop the link in the chat really quickly.
Once again, they want you to send through, what is the website that you verify your address location?
I will drop that in the chat as well.
Can you be awarded a grant for a project that will be finished before receipt of the grant funds?
Yes. So I see some people saying they're not able to see the chat. There is a Q&A box. So I hope you all are able to see where we're answering the questions. If you go under answered, you should be able to see where we've responded in writing to some of the questions, hopefully. And if you don't, just let us know. And we have everybody's email, so we're also happy to send up a follow-up email with everything we discussed on the call. So the link to the Secretary of State page, the link to the City of Atlanta GIS. We're happy to send all of that out as well.
Yes. How would I obtain a W-9?
If you Google W-9 form, the most recent form from the IRS should come up, and you'll just fill that out yourself, and we can put that in the email as well.
If the Office of Revenue tells me that I don't need a business license for an online business, can I snapshot their response for business license portion?
If you could email us directly, we will further analyze your business and see if your business is eligible.
CIGF@investatlanta.com. I think that's the last question. Everyone says, click on the Q&A, and on the tab on the left, it says all questions, and you can see all the responses that Maya has kindly answered. So that's all the questions. We've answered all of them. I hope this has provided some helpful information. And thank you all for joining us. We're very excited. I know it's getting really close to the deadline, remember, November the 9th. So we're excited to review all these applications and excited for you to start 2023 on a high note. So thank you so much for joining us. Maya, thank you so much for all your support throughout this.
Thank you all. Have a great day.